Hi, my name is Petra. And the phone call that ended my marriage came from my daughter's first grade teacher on a Tuesday, starting with, Mrs. Holloway, I need to talk to you about Lila's eating. Lila was 6. Small for her age, dark curly hair, gap-toothed smile like a little jack-o'-lantern. She loved butterflies, hated socks with seams. Her teacher was Ms. Delgado, sharp-eyed, 19 years teaching first grade, missed absolutely nothing. Is she okay? I asked. Physically, she's fine, Ms. Delgado said. But I've noticed a pattern. Lila asks for a second full lunch tray every day. She eats everything on both trays fast, like someone might take it. She's been putting crackers in her pockets, apple slices wrapped in napkins inside her jacket. She's hiding food? Yes. When I asked her, she said, and I'm quoting exactly, I need to bring some home for dinner because sometimes there isn't any. The room tilted. There is always dinner. I cook every single night. I believe you. She also said, Daddy says we can't waste money on food when Mommy already spent it all. Those exact words? I wrote them down. My husband Derek and I had been married 8 years. He worked in commercial real estate, or said he did. He bounced between firms, had stretches of unemployment he called transitions. Early in our marriage, I handled finances, but Derek made me feel like my attention to money was a flaw. You're so uptight about money, Petra. Over time, I stopped checking. He took over. He said he had it under control. But things had been tightening. Name brand cereal became store brand. Cable got downgraded. Derek started policing the grocery cart. We don't need that, he'd say when I reached for string cheese. Since when can't we afford string cheese? I asked one Saturday. It's not about affording it. It's about being smart. It's $3.49, Derek. Add up every $3.49 in a month. Hundreds. That's what you don't see. After Ms. Delgado's call, I stopped letting it go. That night, Lila in bed, I told Derek everything. The food hoarding. The quotes. His reaction was furious. That teacher is overstepping. Lila is 6. She makes things up. Kids don't invent food insecurity. She's putting crackers in her pockets. There's plenty of food in this house. Then why does our daughter think there isn't? She's dramatic. Gets it from you. Have you been telling Lila we can't afford food? I might have said we need to be careful. That's parenting. You told a 6-year-old her mother wastes money on groceries. She can't distinguish between careful and starving. Ms. Delgado is considering filing with CPS. CPS? We're not neglecting our child. I know that. Lila doesn't, because someone made her believe otherwise. He went upstairs. I opened my laptop and logged into our bank account for the first time in a year. Savings, $612. Should have been $18,000. Checking, $340. Mortgage due in 9 days. Transaction history. Cash withdrawals, hundreds at a time, from ATMs at gas stations. 3-4 times weekly. $200 here, $300 there. $500 on a Tuesday at 11 p.m. from a part of town I didn't recognize. Derek! I called. Steel in my voice. He came down, saw the laptop, saw my face. For the first time in 8 years, I saw fear in his eyes. Where is our money? Bills. It goes fast. A TM withdrawals totaling over $11,000 in 3 months. Cash. Gas stations at 11 at night. What is that money for? I owed someone. $11,000? For what? Bad bets? Sports betting. Online first, then in person. I got behind and kept trying to win it back. You gambled away our savings, then told our 6-year-old we couldn't afford food because her mother spent too much. I never said that. And she translated your being careful into hiding crackers in her jacket. That's what your careful did. I closed the laptop. packed a bag for Lila and one for myself. Pulled her from bed, she barely woke, wrapped her arms around my neck, mumbled about butterflies, and carried her to the car. Derek followed me out. "Where are you going?" "My mother's house." "We can talk about this. I'll get help." "You've been lying for months. You drained our savings. You're pulling cash at midnight, and our daughter is hoarding food. I need you to not be in my house tonight." I drove to Louise's at 10:47. She opened the door in her bathrobe, looked at my face, and said, "Bring her in. I'll make the bed." She made chamomile tea and sat across from me without asking a single question. Next day, I called Sandra Chen. Emergency custody filing based on financial depletion and the school's documented concerns. Separate bank account. Paycheck redirected. Ms. Delgado's notes entered the case file. 6 weeks of documented food hoarding. Dates, behaviors, direct quotes. She'd also noted Lila's packed lunches shrinking over time. Sandwich with fruit and a snack down to a plain tortilla with peanut butter. "I was packing what Derek told me to pack," I said at the hearing. "He gave me $85 a week for groceries for 3 people, $4.05 per person per day, while he was pulling $500 from ATMs for gambling losses." The judge granted temporary sole custody. Derek ordered into gambling addiction treatment. Supervised visitation only. Required to repay all $17,388 before unsupervised visits. My friend Claudette called during week 2 at Louise's house. "How are you holding up?" "I'm not. I'm just moving. If I stop, I fall apart." "Can I say something hard?" "Go ahead." "This didn't start with the gambling. It started the day he told you checking the bank account was unhealthy. That was the first move. Everything after was execution." She was right. Derek hadn't stolen our money in one act. He did it by first convincing me that paying attention was a flaw, then tightening control until I couldn't see what was happening. Dr. Reeves called it financial coercive control. She said it almost always starts with making the other person feel guilty for wanting transparency. He made your vigilance the problem so his secrecy could operate undisturbed. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. Derek's wages garnished. He moved in with his brother, started attending meetings. I hope he's better, for Lila's sake. Lila stopped hoarding food within 3 weeks of moving to Louise's. My mother cooked enormous meals every night and made sure Lila saw the full refrigerator every time she passed. "There is always enough, sweet girl," Louise told her. Always. The first night in our new apartment, I let Lila help stock the kitchen. She stood in the snack aisle for 10 minutes, touching boxes like artifacts in a museum. "You can pick whatever you want," I said. "As many as you want." "Really? Daddy won't be mad?" "Daddy doesn't live here. This is our house. Our rule is there is always enough." She put 7 things in the cart: goldfish crackers, graham crackers, string cheese, apple juice boxes, animal crackers, fruit snacks, pretzel bears. "Is this too much?" "It's perfect. Now pick your favorite cereal." She picked the name brand with the toucan on the front, the one Derek had switched to store brand 6 months ago. I put 2 boxes in the cart. That night I filled every shelf until they overflowed. Standing in my kitchen at midnight with a sleeping child in the next room, filling shelves felt like building a wall between my daughter and fear. I hung a butterfly mobile in Lila's bedroom. She picked it at a craft fair. Every night she watches them turn in the draft from the vent. "The purple one tonight," she said last week. "Why purple?" "Because purple is brave. Ms. Delgado said purple is the color of courage." Ms. Delgado is a very smart woman. She gave me extra crackers when I was sad. "I know she did, baby. I will always be grateful." Lila doesn't hoard food anymore. She eats slowly, peels string cheese strip by strip, leaves food on her plate when she's full without looking guilty. That is what safety looks like on a 6-year-old. Leaving food on your plate because you know there will be more tomorrow. A month after we moved in, Lila came into the kitchen while I washed dishes. Mommy, can I have a snack? Of course. What do you want? String cheese. I opened the fridge, 3 packs inside, handed her one. She peeled it slowly. Mommy? Yeah? Are we allowed to have as much as we want now? I knelt down. Yes, as much as you want. Always. She smiled that gap-toothed smile. Good, because I really like string cheese. I laughed. Then I cried. Then I hugged her so tight she said, Mommy, you're squishing me. Ms. Delgado sent Lila a card at year's end. To the bravest girl in 1st grade, you used your words, and your words changed everything. Lila drew a picture of our apartment and hung it on the fridge. Big yellow sun. Purple butterfly. Kitchen table with a plate piled high. At the bottom in her careful handwriting, our house. There is always enough. She spelled enough wrong. I will never correct it. Claudette asked me once if I blamed myself for not catching it sooner. Every single day, I said. Dr. Reeves says that's normal. She says the hardest part of financial abuse is that the victim blames themselves for not seeing it. But the whole point of the manipulation is that you aren't supposed to see it. He built the blind spot. He maintained it. He made you feel unreasonable for wanting to look. Derek didn't just take our money. He took my confidence in my own judgment. But there is something left now. A 2-bedroom apartment with a full pantry. A 1st grader who believes the world will feed her. A mother who checks the bank account every morning and will never apologize for it again. And a drawing on the refrigerator that says everything I need to remember. There is always enough. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Has a child ever said something that made you see a truth you'd been missing? I read every comment. See you in the next one.